the heart of this really is listening to your users and getting an understanding of what the business needs really are, and translating those into solutions that work. I think we try to keep just a continuous improvement mindset. Like, we're always trying to make things better. We're always trying to improve the system that we have. We're trying to make lives easier. We'd rather you enjoy coming to work, and we'd rather you not waste time. If you got an 8-hour day, we'd rather 2 hours of that not be wasted clicking things that don't need to be clicked, right? So how do we cut some of the waste there? And I think that plays out in a lot of different ways. I think one way that we've really, a couple ways that we've really experienced some wins here lately. First, just in user experience, just in surfacing valuable data, valuable information, key data points in a place where it's visible and it's tangible and it's usable. We'll talk a little bit later, but we've implemented these like tags on the contact to where our contact record has hundreds of fields because it's used by different teams and whatever, and so limiting visibility on those fields just to what individuals need based on their profile and based on how they're going to use it, and then surfacing some of those key data points. So like for us, it's important to know if this person donated this year, if they're a volunteer, or if they're an advocate. And so instead of having to search through the fields to see, okay, do they have that checkbox checked? Let's just pop it up with an emoji up at the top right of the screen, advocate, that kind of thing. And I would say along with that, that works on kind of the individual contact level. But then I think thinking big picture, right? Not missing the forest for the trees. Reporting and analytics have been such a key. We've got just a fantastic power user that loves to build and design reports and dashboards for our field users. And so he's building templates, based on the capabilities of the tool. And so those templates are then usable by everybody. And so makes our life easier, but makes everybody's life easier, where what used to be, if you needed a report built, you'd have to reach out to our team for the most part, and we'd help you build it or whatever. And now we've listened, we've understood, like, okay, here's 95% of the reports that are built by our field staff. And so let's go ahead and build those templates where they can just pop in their office name or pop in whatever campaign or whatever it is that's relevant to them. And it's already done for them instead of them having to come and really like delay, right? Like we're the bottleneck there, and we don't want to be. And so really empowering your users to use the tool effectively, and just listening to them as to what would be beneficial for them, I think really keeps you moving in the right direction. And I would say just like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where like as you optimize, you discover other areas where like you just turn that microscope higher and higher magnification, where it's like, oh, we should fix that here, like while we're here. So yeah.
And I just want to complement that. Here, I love to talk about mindset just because it's critical, specifically when you're optimizing. Just because the fact that you have something working doesn't mean that it's done. It's there. Like you don't have to do any kind of maintenance, or as you said, like let's keep looking at what we can improve. This is an ongoing process, and there are different ways that we can approach it. Kind of like you can do it on ad hoc basis. Basically, hey, we need to improve this area in particular. Or you can have a managed service agreement, and where we can help you kind of like to keep that base based on the needs that you have, or even keep doing a small projects, just because that's how you start doing different things and you realize that you can improve more. But again, it's a mindset that needs to be there. It's not just stop, right, Jacob?
That's right. And I think knowing your limits too, where like my team, like what we specialize in is automation. Like we automate all day, every day is the dream, right? Like we're trying to cut manual processes, but we also try to know our limits. And so I think for us, like we hit a point where we realized that we needed to start leveraging the power of AI in our platform and for our users. And it was like, this is something that we don't have the bandwidth to actually like go and discover ourselves and then build it and then roll it out. And so let's pull in some experts here. And that's where we reached out to Equals 11. It's like, let's pull in some experts who can actually have done this before. They know what to do, what's going on here. And you get the added benefit of like having, bona fide subject matter experts in the room. So when you're trying to get some of that change management piece going, it's like, okay, we're going to listen to the experts over here instead of just taking my word for it. So yeah,
Nice.
go as far as you
Nice.
can go. And then when you hit the wall, call the expert, right?
Sounds good. Perfect. Vivi, do you want to mention anything?
I just wanted to mentioned that, Jacob, about with regards to automation. I think that it's worth mentioning that you guys have a lot of work put towards that, right? The last time I saw you guys had over 400 flows. So maybe it's interesting just to give a hint on that.
Yeah, and probably some need to be condensed, but I think yeah, we really just, and that's kind of been our strategy all along is, and granted, you can't go automating willy nilly, right? You have to understand the manual process before you can even
Right.
think about automating. But you multiply the abilities of your staff. You get that we have so many fantastic people that work for the National Kidney Foundation. Like they need to be using their minds and using their skill sets for what they were actually there to do, right? Not pointing and clicking. And so as much as we can cut, all we're doing is like giving them the keys to a nicer car and letting them drive as fast as they can.